Good morning, First Christian Church. I have challenged you to be grateful this month. Have you been doing that? If nothing else, I want you to be grateful for these dawn photos by my Twitter friend, Janet McClanahan. For today's video, I want to show you an interview I did with our member, Bill Owens. I was talking to him on the phone the other day and learned that he was music minister at our church in 1968 when he was 19 years old. So I asked him to share his story on video so that I could share it with you. Some of you may already know this story, but it was new to me and I was very fascinated by it all. So I hope you'll enjoy this interview with Bill Owens. I was reading the church history about the church burning, and church burned in 1965. You were a member of the church then?
It was, I guess, around that time that it was either that year or the next year that maybe I joined the church anyway.
And then in 1968, I read that they were moved into the new building, and it said that they had a special song sung by Bill Owens, and was that you?
Yeah, that was me, and the song was He.
Is that right?
He can turn the tides and anyway, that was the song, and it's kind of interesting. I came to the Christian church because a friend and a neighbor, Camille Preston, invited me. And Camille and I are, of course, still very good friends. She's now living in Georgia, I think. She got married and lived in Georgia. But we were just lifelong friends, and at that point, and I had just had some success with a group called the Unknowns, which won the Dick Clark Marathon of Bands contest, and the whole town went to Louisville.
How old were you
to
then?
Support us. I was had just turned 15, I think
15?
It was. Yeah.
Wow.
I was 14 when the contest was going, and then the next July I turned 15. Anyway, fast forward, the church had burned, and then was meeting in the high school and everything. And of course, I believe the church is the people, not the solid building anyway. So that didn't bother me whether there was a facility or not. It was just I wanted to be with my friend, and well, we had several friends, that attended the Christian church at the time, and so J. Hunter Jones was the associate minister at the time of the church, and
So was he in charge of music?
yes, and he was music was part of his responsibilities anyway. And Jay Hunter, basically, he already knew about me, and I think it was maybe 2 weeks later I was up singing my first solo in church, which was He. And there were no youth choirs pretty much in Danville. I don't think many churches had any youth choirs here. So, if you're a warm body and you have talent, Jay Hunter was smart enough to use you, And sure enough, that's what happened. And then I went... the interesting thing about Jay is that when I was ready to audition for my college scholarship at Eastern Kentucky University, my dad was very busy in a real estate business. He was the owner of the Danville Realty Company here in town, and my mom was tied up. She was helping him a lot too. Jay Hunter took me to my college audition. When I went over there to audition for them and everything. Talk about paying it forward and, being very, ministerial and everything. I mean, he really did walk the walk, and truly cared about me, and our relationship grew, of course, during that period. Well, later on, he went, I think, I'm not sure it was Glasgow or somewhere else in the center part of the state or western part of the state. And I basically, when I finished college, at Danville High, I became the choral director at Danville High School, and then I also was in charge of Bate Middle School music at that time, and was assistant band director. They get you to do everything they can get you to do, for music, and I had a great year. We did the Mozart Requiem, and with the choir that year, I remember, and. Anyway, but two of my former choir members had moved to Louisville, Bobby and Ann Rouse. And they told me about a full-time position at Beargrass opening up, Beargrass Christian Church, and I just kind of felt something tugging on me to go inquire about that and see if that was a possibility. I had a great experience here, as a teacher, and loved my students. They loved me and got along great. But I just felt like there was something pulling me. Of course, I believe it was God. And anyway, so I went to. Ended up getting the job at Beargrass, and I was there for 13 years. And then I became involved with the National Evangelism Association, and what I really discovered is that I'm really an evangelist that use music as a tool. And so I really had a passion for that thing and got to know a lot of really significant people, Herb Miller, Ken Callahan, lots of very talented people anyway. And later I just, I felt like I needed to do something different. And I was a resource person for Middletown, and they were trying to, develop their ministry. Their church was pretty much landlocked, but they had, Louisville was growing in that direction at that time. And they said, we would love to have you if you would consider coming. And of course I was really torn on it, and it was very difficult to make that decision, but I decided I wanted to try something different. And they didn't have a youth choir, we had been successful at Beargrass for quite a while, and they knew how important that was for families and kids, coming into the life of the church. Right. So anyway, moving forward from there, then I had a wonderful career at Middletown, and I was there 19 years. After that, during that period, the sad part of this story is that we were part of the General Assembly was meeting in Louisville. I can't remember the year it was anyway, but we were doing a combined choir thing to participate in the General Assembly of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. And I was, really looking forward to it because I heard that J. Hunter Jones was going to lead the music. And I thought, well, that's great. I haven't seen him in years, and I'm going to be sure and see him afterwards, and we'll reconnect, And the most tragic thing happened. His dream was, I think, at least told by several people that I know, was to one day lead the music for the General Assembly. And tragically, he was leading the singing and literally fell over and died on the platform.
Wow.
And it was heartbreaking. I mean, you can just imagine, here's this guy who took me to college and, just really mentored me. Yeah. And, really taught me a lot about mentoring other young people and stuff anyway. And so that was a terrible tragedy, and David Blondell got up and finished the singing, leading the singing or whatever. But the bookend to this story is a really good thing. And I was reading, as a matter of fact, every now and then, and I need a pick-me-up or whatever, I'll read some of the letters that people have written to me through the years. And I was reading after my 10th year in Middletown, some of the letters that were from there, from the youth choir tours, and they celebrated me being there 10 years. And in there, of course, were just wonderful letters of what it meant to the kids to be a part of the program, and our relationship, and the things that I was able to help them through the years. Well, tonight, this day, at 8 p.m., one of my former youth choir members is going to be in the second round of The Voice, the TV show. Wow. The Voice. Oh, wow. Kenzie Rose is her name. Go Kenzie. And I am so proud of her. And of course, she credits me with helping build a confidence and stuff that that she had when she sang in the youth choir. And her sister's just as talented, Megan. Wow. And they're just, her family are just wonderful people. We're great supporters of our music ministry. And anyway, but she's going to be in the second. She's in the second round. She was selected by Kelly Clarkson, and Blake Shelton turned for her, but he was blocked by Kelly. So tonight she is in the knockout rounds, and so she'll be going against another group, which is a trio, which almost seems unfair, but you just have to wait and see. You never know, and that kind of thing.
And
but
somebody
Kenzie,
you nurtured. What a great story! Yes.
Let's see if I've got a picture over here. So everybody at First Christian root for her.
How old is she now?
I guess she would be late 20s, and that's her.
How pretty! Yeah.
Beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And anyway, but go Kenzie. I'm so proud of you and excited for you.
Yeah.
Hope she goes far anyway. But she's toured to Norway. She's she's performed with Vince Gill, and she has a lot of talent. And so you're like the proud papa.
Sure.
Whether it's your biological kid or your church kid, they're all the same. You love them all.
That's right.
So that's my story with Jay Hunter and how important it is for us to always mentor kids and give them an opportunity. Right. And he took care of me, and hopefully I paid it forward, with 37 and a half years of music and evangelism ministries. And anyway, but I've been blessed. And First Christian, when First Christian hired me, when I was actually a sophomore at EKU, and I know Betty McWhorter and Joanne Powell were two of the biggest supporters in that happening. Betty was like my elementary music teacher as well, and she was the organist of the church, and so I was there 5.5 years. Also, I forgot to mention that when I was hired as the full-time choral director here. Right.